What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today I'm going to show you the tournament footage from the Empress Championship that I was able to be a part of. So this is round 1, going against Force Ronin, who is a very strong player, like top 10 right now. So I'm not hosting, but I do have a really good spawn, so let's see how things play out. So I just go with the workshop. I find my first village, which is a good start. I don't get it taken. Pretty nice. And I suspect there's a village here because of the resources. See, one thing with Empress that's very important is in any tile where there are no resources like these, they guarantee that villages cannot spawn near them. This rule only applies for Empress and Katali, but it's very, very important to keep in mind for this tournament. So I see the opponent there though, and I do get this village here. I decide to get riding, and I've been doing this a lot. I like to train the rider instead of getting the explorer. I know I want to get an explorer, but I want to take one turn just to funnel it and instead get a rider first. It essentially costs me 1 star overall, but I think it's well worth it. And I managed to meet the opponent here. And again, I get the explorer, so kind of wherever it goes, it's fine here. I just need more information than I have right now. Then I can train some more units. They start to attack a little bit, but I am able to take advantage of things at least a little. I know that they have a rider here that I can hit, and I can also kill this warrior. So I kill that, and I go kill the warrior. I could kill the rider here, but I decide not to just because I don't want them getting this village too easily. Because if I let them get their hands on that, there might be some issues. So instead, I also send this rider to safety and to possibly scoop up some more villages in the south area of the map. And yeah, I train some units, get a workshop. And right now I am liking my situation because I know that right now, the Vorst only has 2 cities, whereas I have 3, and I could easily be getting a 4th, maybe even 5th. I also get a nice hit with the rider there, and I secured this village with the 4 HP. And yeah, I'm just spamming some more units. I decided to go climbing because I see these mountains here are really useful, not only to get vision, but also just they're very annoying warrior spots. And I do find a village here, so at this point I am very confident because I've got what looks to be 5 villages to his 4. Now that's not a free win, of course. I still have to work very hard for it, but I'm feeling pretty nice here. So again, lots of unit spam. That's kind of how Drylands is. I'm just developing my economy a bit. I'm trying to pressure this city right here because he's already got his units in this area. So I'm going to try and go where he isn't and try to poke around. And he gets roads already. I get roads as well. So I go for some connections and I go for a siege because it seems really tough to unsiege. And I try to block a lot, like unless he's got a rider in the fog here, he actually cannot unsiege this. So, and if I take the city, then it's a 3-on-6, and that also means I get Grand Bazaar, so I'd be in a phenomenal position. Now, unfortunately, there is a rider in the fog and a veteran sword and a warrior there. He managed to sneak around and get a cheeky vet sword ruins. And no problem defending here. I just kill some units here. I'm not expecting to be able to siege again because the vet sword is too good defensively. So instead I just start to develop economy a bit. And I am able to get pretty close to a giant. That's what I'm looking at next turn. I know it doesn't look like the population is there, but I have 1 animal here. I want to get hunting anyway for this animal. And I can also grab this lighthouse over here, and that's going to be population for the giant. So that's my plan there. I do have the giant next turn. So if you guys are worried about that, don't worry. I know how to count. So they decide to go for the city, but unfortunately it does not hold. I don't think they had enough information to see that I had plenty of units in reserve. And unfortunately, it is going to cost them some units. They defend in the north, but that means they're not actually able to pressure me. And again, I can just take that out, and then I also block with the rider because I know they actually cannot do anything about that. So I'm going to get that city, and it's going to be on a 4-on-6, and it's just going to be a super strong spot. I also get the Park of Fortune here because I want to get forestry, get another giant here, and once again, be in a good spot. I also don't level up just because I want to keep the unit spam going. I don't really need to play economically here because I'm already up in cities and already up in eco. I need more units. So they do take me off the village because this rider block isn't quite sufficient, but it does force this rider to move in an awkward place, which that's what ends up happening. They're able to take out my rider in the north, but now I've got a giant sent that way. I decide it's no longer worth trying to go for the village until my giant comes in, so I just send my units away. And then I just develop a little more because I've already got plenty of units. And at this point, I'm feeling really good because it just doesn't seem like Vorse has anything going for him right now. I'm just up in cities, up in eco, up in super units. And as long as I keep a good unit spam going, and I even get another giant because I got Gate of Power first as well. So again, things are just looking phenomenal for me. And it's really just gonna keep on continuing that way. He tries to level up. I'm just gonna be pressuring Malice there, that northern city next to his capital, because at some point I'm likely to take it. I also moved the giant here. This is gonna block his giant with zone of control, so he can't send support. He has to giant push, and then I can try to re-siege. I also just send this giant on the village for pretty self-explanatory reasons. I need the 6th city, and it's just gonna be super useful. So I also just get a nice cheeky hit on the warrior, so it's harder for him to kill my giant. And he does try to kill my giant, which absolutely makes sense, because if I get that city, things are really not going to end well for him. And just barely actually manages to do it, but it's really costly, and I can just attack again. And he double monuments for the giant push, so he gets that going. But not only am I able to, with ease, not only get the village back, but siege, get it with Veteran Rider, then I decide to just sack all my units on the giant. I actually did not use Polycalc for calculating this. I just was like, surely I have enough units. And I just barely did. I can take out their giant, and the re-siege is just too much. It's going to be 7 to 3 cities, which is just completely insurmountable. So, game 1, very, very lucky start to this tournament, and I'll cut to the next match. Alright, so game 2, I am hosting this time, but you can see things aren't looking quite as good, at least with my capital spawn. No 5 fruit, and I have 4 mountains, plus just, like, look at this section of mountains here. This is not a good start. So, I'm a little worried, but at least I did win earlier. This is best 2 out of 3 for each game. Oh yeah, and the tournament format is double elimination. That is, like, pretty important. But yeah, so I've got 1 point, and I just need to win 1 more. Vorse needs to win 2 more here, and whoever loses goes in loser's bracket. I explore and I find nothing. And I also see a bunch of just empty tiles, which means no villages. And then when I go here, I see his capital. So not very good. I go for the early writing just to explore faster, and I'm seeing a lot of blank tiles. That's not what you want to see. I go for climbing, and I do have a lot of mines at least, thank goodness. So I find the opponent, but luckily the opponent's not doing very well either. And yeah, I decided to skip the ruins just to get this village faster because I just need to get my 2nd city ASAP. I'm capturing it on turn 6, which is not a good look. I get mining, pre-cap, and I just make another rider because, again, expansion is an absolute necessity here. My first village was so far away. I get Smithery from the ruins, though, which is absolutely perfect because I have this beautiful level 3 forge spot right here that I want to grab. Or right here if I chop a forest, but I want to border guard this capital. So... And I get some nice vision. I get the lighthouse so I can level up my capital and start developing my eco. I also funnel the explorer with this rider, so it's going to go in the east. And I see that Vorse is only going to have 3 cities, and there's a good chance that there's a city here, here, or even here. So it's a small dry lands. Not a tiny dry land, small dry land, and it's going to be a 3-on-3. Absolutely, like, I've never seen anything like this before. And now I've got to play a tournament game like this, where I have no idea what's going on here. This is just so wonky and wild. So I'm kind of playing really greedy here, because I just want to get the early giant and try to snowball my economy a bit. I see that Vorse also got mining, and he also gets a border growth on his capital. But I go ahead, I get my first giant, I capture that second or third city, and I also see that it's got a nice forge spot as well, which is really nice. I place my Park of Fortune here because my third city is going to be just fine, and I want to develop a little faster. I go workshop, which I was thinking about Explorer, but the vision actually doesn't help me much. I know where all of his cities are, I have vision of them, and I only get 1 lighthouse from the Explorer. I don't get I have got either, so workshop is just going to be better here. And yeah, Vorse is just trying to pick up the lighthouse here. That's why he's moving here. He's also trying to bait my giant and just force me to train something on my capital. So it's actually a really good move to go on the mountain like this. And I actually do take the bait. I know that, like, again, it's forcing my giant back, but I don't want him to move closer to this lighthouse and then have to move my giant further back later on. I just want him to not get the lighthouse in the first place. Because if he gets I've got it, he's just got an extra monument on me, and that's going to be really tough to deal with. And look at this, another border growth. So he's got these 2 border growths, and that gets me thinking a little bit. 2 potential high-level cities are the perfect target for cloaks. Now, I don't want to get cloaks yet, because it's a little too committal. If he sets up a good anti-cloak defense, then I'm in for a world of hurt. Or if he just, like, pressures me, that's usually the best answer to cloaks. Like, if I go for cloaks and he just starts attacking me, then the cloaks are useless, so. And speaking of which, he's got archers. So now I'm quite worried about him trying to attack me, especially like this giant, because I've got this forest here, and he can start to migrate on my territory. So I'm spamming a lot of units here, because I can't get an easy giant, so that's kind of the alternative, just spam little sword dudes. Although I am able to get a giant here, but it is very slow. Because like if he goes like up next turn, which he doesn't, because I have plenty of swords to defend, he's not just gonna throw his giant in for no reason and just lose it. Super units are very valuable. And I'm also hanging back, and the reason why is because I really wants to play the long game here, because he doesn't have his forges up yet. That Smithy Ruins is absolutely going to carry me because it lets me develop faster. My eco is doing really well. I currently have 17 star per turn, and if we look at all of his cities, he's got 7, 12, only 14 star per turn. So I'm gaining a slight edge over time despite his double border growths, because I'm more developed currently and I can get markets sooner. He is spamming archers, which again I am worried about, so I'm also thinking about knights. So really either one, because if I get knights, that's going to mean he cannot attack me with his archers, because if you want to attack with archers, you need a lot of them, which means they're going to be in a clump. Knights chain through them, sad day for them. So we see forestry, which again, I kind of like seeing forestry here actually, because again, that means he's not planning to go markets anytime soon. And as long as he doesn't go markets, that means he's not going to be able to like knight spam or cloak spam or sword spam or anything like that. He's going to just lay low and not really be able to do much while I get my trade up and I get 2 markets. And now I have a significant eco advantage. Still not pressuring me, so I go for a knight just to really ensure he cannot pressure me. And then now I can safely go cloaks because look at how reserved his archers are. He's playing things really safe, making sure he doesn't get chained. Like he's got this really good setup. He even got a knight. And I train a unit, or a knight here up in the north as well. So again, he's got to play really defensive, really safe. And when you're playing really passive like this, that's prime time for cloaks. Because if I go cloaks here, I can train them really anywhere except here. Actually, I could train a cloak here, and he wouldn't even be able to punish it. So I can just kind of do whatever I want. I disband a rider to make more space here. I've got 2 cloaks. 2 targets. You can kind of see where this is going. He just passes the turn here. I forget why he passed the turn. Maybe it was either a misclick or he actually just didn't plan on doing anything. But I get archery to move on these defense bonus tiles and to start sending my cloaks in. And wisely, Vorse knows that there's a cloak coming here. He has vision on my capital from earlier with the warrior, so he sends his giants in a way that blocks every potential square this cloak can go to. Even though he doesn't know exactly where it is, he knows approximately where it is, and that's going to be good enough for setting up a defense. I can't kill these giants, this cloak actually can't land. Now as for this city, if he tries the same thing, I've got a giant here, which is going to mess him up. So he's actually only able to deal with 1 of the cloaks, but he gets his markets up. That worries me a little bit, but I'm going to be able to start attacking to make up for that. I'm going to steal his eco, and hopefully that makes up for his markets. He's going to play really defensively. I go forestry, get a border growth of my own, and I get another knight. I just really want to pressure. I've got the cloak, and if I can cloak chain on one of his cities, that's going to make up for his better markets that he's got on me. And he's trying to pew-pew with the archers, but again, he has to play around knight chains, which is so annoying for him because he also just needs to defend these cloaks, and it's just a lot. I send this cloak over here because he's just got too good of a defense on his capital, so I'm just not even bothering. Then I just get another giant, ups my eco, and it's another super unit to help with like sieging or something like that. He's training warriors, very cheap. It's a very good idea here because when you're getting sieged constantly, you gotta be very careful how you spend your stars because you're not going to have as much to work with, even with the markets here. I send this cloak back though because he broke his formation, and I send it here because it's really hard to detect here, especially since I've been moving it around a lot. He might not realize it's here at all, so I could catch him off guard. It is possible to detect the cloak, by the way, if you rode this rider in a really absurd way. This costs 3 roads. Sorry, no, 1, 2, 3. It costs 4 roads to do, and you have to know that the cloak is here, which he doesn't know the cloak is here. So it's like absolutely absurd to find. And it only works because the cloak is here. If the cloak was like here instead, or just somewhere, anywhere else, this play wouldn't work. So like I figured there's no way he's finding that. And I also get the sieges with the swords, because it's going to force some really awkward on sieges. And like I've got this giant too, and now his catapult has to decide. Help unsiege or attack the giant. And I've also got some pressure from the sides. I knew that if I play aggressively, I do have inevitable breakthroughs, mainly kind of getting to his back line via these edges of the map that he can't cover. Like if things really get to, like if he gets spiritualism, he can't cover the back lines. Like no matter what happens, no matter how good his defense is, it's never going to be unbreakable. And he gets some chains, but because of the defense boosted daggers, he can only do so much. And again, I'm kind of working around the edge. That's how I'm making progress here. And I'm also chipping away at his giants a little bit, because once those giants go, he's going to be very open and easy to attack. I also go for a little knight chain, hit with the cloak first, so then a knight actually survives. And now the knight here, it's only 1 HP, but it is threatening his catapult, which is partially the reason why I did this, also just to injure his giant some more. And yeah, I also got an archer here just to further chip at these giants, because even though he has knights, it's only 1 archer, plus like, he can't chain anything here. That is something I've had to be constantly aware of this entire game. Don't give him a chain, don't give him a chain. Because that's Vorse's biggest out here, is like, if I give him a really big chain, that's it. Like, suddenly the game turns around. Because keep in mind, it is a 3-on-3. It's not like I have a massive insurmountable advantage. Like, no, this can turn on a dime. It just takes 1 bad play. But yeah, I send this giant back just to recover it, because I want to keep my super units alive, because they are a finite resource. I get the lighthouse back there, which does nothing. It was more so just to move it on the mountain to be annoying. And I'm just, again, constantly cloak chaining, and at some point I'm just hoping he's going to get overwhelmed. I decide to improve my markets because I can. I have the resources to do so, because I actually have quite the surplus in stars. But at this point it's not really too much about stars so much as just finding that breakthrough. Because now Vorse has 3 border growth cities, so like in the long term, he will be better if I don't constantly pressure him. But I am able to pressure him quite a bit. The cloak chaining is devastating. He cannot do anything about it. And I'm just going to keep trying to chip away, especially at his giants. Because if I force them back, that means he has to play really passive and keep defending, which is good for me. And if not, then yeah, sucks to be him. So he gets another unsiege, but again, it's looking more and more bleak. And I get a nice Night Chain behind in the backlines again, and it's starting to get really difficult for him. I'm further chipping away at his giants. It's getting harder and harder for him to survive, get another sword siege, and it's slowly starting to crumble, but the end is not there yet. Again, I can still mess this up. It's never too late to just give away a massive Night Chain. But then at this point, this is where the cookie finally starts to crumble. I get a cap siege. But very importantly, actually, this 2 HP knight is threatening this catapult as well. So he has quite a lot to worry about. And that's going to be like the pressure at this point. It's just been building and building, and his defensive resources have slowly been lowering ever so slightly every turn. And on the 28th turn, he just cannot defend everything at this point. Something has got to give. Even with that really nice Night Chain on my daggers, he does not kill my 2 HP knight, and the glue that holds his defense together, being that catapult, finally dies and he resigns, because there's just no way he can hold on from here. And so this is round 1. We're not just going to look at round 1. This video is going to be pretty long. We're also looking at round 2, which I'll cut to. Alright, so we got round 2 against someone you might recognize already, Ram Dangler. I'm going to plug his channel in the description once again. He's also a polytuber and a very strong player. But I get paired against him round 2. Again, I gotta win 2 games to win. I am hosting the first game this time, which is pretty nice, but I am still quite worried because host advantage only means so much. I mean, I managed to beat Vorse without host advantage game 1, so it's not everything. But I just explore, then I see a second city, and I don't have 2 fruit, which is a little bit of a shame, but I have a ton of force, and I see another village, also with a ton of force, and already in my mind, I'm like, wait, that's a lot of force. Pretty clear observation, but what can I do with those forests? Well, I'm going to workshop this, go really greedy, and rush markets, because I have some beautiful market spots. I'll kind of draw them out in a couple turns. So I meet the opponent, and at this point, the idea is I'm going to chop these 5 forests, and when I do that, I can place a sawmill here, I can place a sawmill here, then market, 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 and they're going to be really high level and juicy, and everyone will be happy. I don't remember this is exactly what I did in the game, but it was something along the lines of this, where there's a bunch of overlap and really, really strong markets. Even if I'm only on 3 cities for this entire game, these markets are so strong that I might just win anyway. But as you'll see, I actually do not end up on 3 cities this game, because there's a 4th one right there. And I'm spamming a lot of warriors to make sure I can not lose the game. I block the city, make sure I can get it. I'm upgrading my cities nice and fast. I try exploring up here really just to get vision. I'm not expecting this warrior to actually do much, but the vision is nice. I get math, pre-cap. Just kind of going about things. And yeah, you can see I already chopped all the spaces that I planned out earlier because I know, like, it's gonna be juicy. So yeah, he's gonna take this village up here, but again, I've got 4 cities, and that's all I need. I don't need to expand anymore. I'm just gonna chill here, develop a ton of economy, and spam some more warriors so that I don't lose the game. And if I'm gonna be getting not only my markets way sooner, but my markets are probably way better than his. Okay, so it looks like I actually did the sawmill here, which, same idea. I think this actually has slightly more overlap in exchange for a lower level sawmill, which I believe is worth it. Yeah, it is worth it, just barely. Yeah, and I go Park of Fortune here just to get the giant faster, again, just to make sure nothing stupid happens, because if I hold on to all my cities, that is literally all I need to do to win this game. I get an Explorer just to see what's up. It goes backwards. Oh well. I find the ruins, though, which I would have found anyway, so it's what it's. He tries to knock me off this ruins, though, but my warrior spam is kind of coming in clutch a little bit. I also get pop ruins, but doesn't actually do anything until I get roads, which I'm gonna get trade, so that's gonna happen, but... And then I get riding, just to train 1 rider, naturally. He's gonna kick me off the ruins again. He's not letting me have it. And, I mean, that makes sense. Like, ruins are pretty good. And I'm trying to pressure with the giants, just to maybe force him to divert resources in ways he doesn't want to. I also want to delay his markets by pressuring with the giants, because, like, if I let him just sit there and do what he wants, then maybe he decides to get cloaks or something. That's what I'm really worried about, because I got all these big cities. I'm playing really defensive, so if I keep playing defensive, there could be some issues. But I go for trade, and just plop down a level 8 market on turn 12. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, at this point, there's really not much Ramdingler can do. I'm placing the markets, my economy is completely out of control. I get climbing for more vision and for some extra defensive posture. But he gets a nice catapult there, it's very annoying, but I just buy chivalry because I can. I even disband the rider to get extra unit space, because, like, I have so many stars. So I'm just threatening to chain the catapult, although I do believe I cannot reach it yet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this rider would need to die. Actually, so I guess I could reach the catapult already. He gets meth himself, so he could get the markets, but he doesn't defend the city, because the pressure is just too much. And unfortunately, he's not getting the city back, because I'm getting mining, and... yeah, I think you guys know where this is going. Like, just look at my economy. I can do whatever I want at this point. I do some really stupid road connections and waste a ton of stars, which it doesn't matter because I'm completely winning. It doesn't matter he's gonna re-siege. Like, game animation's taking a while for some reason. Yeah, road connections and stuff. But yeah, like, I know he's gonna siege, but it doesn't matter. I have 40 star per turn. What do you think I'm gonna do to unsiege? He gets a really good market too, but I'm actually, like, in a really commanding position, and I'm able to pressure him a ton. I'm going to be able to unsiege. I've got the knights already. Like, I am way ahead of him. Him placing his first market 4 turns later is just way too slow, unfortunately. I get another market, because why not? And again, there's just, like, he is doing a really good job of trying to play the any outs, trying to pressure as much as he can, but at some point, you just run out of options, and his giants start to crumble as well. And I'm just going to keep spamming knights. And I'm also making sure, again, don't give him any, like, really good chains, because that's always something you got to be aware of when you don't have perfect vision. Even when you do, like, if they have knights, don't get chained. And he has to play around chains as well, which is really rough when he's already extremely low in units and struggling to do anything at this point. Like, he gets his markets going, but again, it's just too little too late. I have way too much pressure. I'm gonna have no problem finding, and now I can even pressure his capital. And yeah, I'm actually up in cities here as well because of me taking this one. So yeah, it's just so devastating. he resigns. So game 1, I win. I'm on a hot streak here. And let's see if that keeps up in game 2. Alright, so game 2, I am not hosting. Instead, Ram Dingler is. And my spawn is decent. It's going to be a little different than the last one, though. Because I don't see a ton of animals, or like forests and all that. And I missed my village, which is not the greatest, but I find the village eventually. And I missed the village again, but I find it eventually. My density is really awful. I know for a fact that, yeah, the closest cities are going to be pretty far away, so really unlucky, actually. I'm kind of worried. I funnel my explorer, see what's up. I find him already next to a village and a bunch of ruins, and he's got another rider and another rider on his capital. He has good density, and I'm glad that I won the first game because I'm a little worried about this game, but he steps on the village. I can afford roads, which I do, because I decide, well, I'm going to just play this really aggressively. And here's the thing is, I place a road here instead of here. And the reason why is because I know that there is most likely a village here, and I can connect it with the road here. Really weird. Also, I don't go for the village here in case he's got like some random rider in the fog and he can get climbing. I would not be able to deal with that if that happens. So I move the rider away, and I do find that village there. This ruins gives me a vet sword, which is pretty nice actually, because it guarantees I get the village. So I'm actually going to be at an advantage, or an advantage. I don't know why I pronounced it that way, but because he's only going to have 3 cities, but I still have to be a little wary here. None of these wins are going to be free wins, even when I get lucky. I missed the lighthouse, but I'm looking at things. He's got workshops, so not good vision at all, which I can exploit. And I'm going to have 5 cities, unfortunately not 6, but it's still going to be really good. The only concern is if he gets giants, and he's got forestry, so I need to be concerned. And I am. So my plan against giants is to just pressure them so much, like, that he just can't go for giants soon enough. Because if he gets really early, if I just like let him play solitaire for a bit, he's going to get his giants going fast. And it's going to be really hard for me to come up with an answer, even if I myself also get to play solitaire for a bit. Because my best answer is to get archery, but the problem is my villages are pretty far apart. If he takes the city here, it's a 4-on-4. And if he gets his giants first, his eco is going first. Sure, it's even in cities, but it is by no means an even situation. So I do not want to go to a 4-on-4. So I want to avoid that at all costs. So I need to attack. So I spam a lot of units. And if this doesn't work, if he just gets his giant off anyway... Uh-oh. If he gets his giant off anyway, that's not going to be good. And the writing might be on the wall already. Except it's not. So why does he get a park here? Simple. He ran out of time. He upgraded that city with just 1 second remaining. He timed out, and the game decided to get a park for him, which is very unfortunate, and he definitely should have won. But also, in some ways at the same time, if he's on 2 seconds, like, yeah, that's just how the game is sometimes. But I mean, he definitely, I can say he probably, at the very least, is playing with an advantage if he gets the giant off. Like, I know for a fact he would have converted this. So I luck out completely. I siege, and then I siege again, and it looks completely unbreakable. Though it actually, this one on Resurrect is not unbreakable, but the other one is unbreakable. And now at this point, it's not even close, unfortunately. That one mistake from the time pressure completely cost him the game, which is really unfortunate to see, but it does mean that I get another 2-window, 4 wins, 0 losses. And with that will conclude this part of the series. This is going to be a 3-parter, by the way. because this is a long tournament. Again, double elimination. But hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.